Good morning. Hi. Hello. Hey. How you doing? Do you have your coffee? Go get your coffee. Nobody can be here without their warm drink in the morning. I guess you can be here if you don't drink the warm drink, but I feel like if you're a coffee drinker, you should get your coffee. I have my coffee. Welcome to Periwinkle Palace Arts. Thanks for clicking on the button and coming to watch my live stream and or clicking on the video after it's gone live. I just appreciate you being here. That's all. I'm Princess Bunny, Princess Bun Bun, and I'm here with my Bun Buns, and we do art here. That's what we do. So let's first introduce the buddies, and then I will tell you what we're going to do today. Say good morning to Maya. Hello, Maya. Maya is my fibromyalgia bunny, and she's so precious, and I love her. She's my best bun bun. I do not know why I do that. It's just like an instinct. Okay. Maya is gonna sit underneath my laptop where she always sits. And she got her pillow today. She's still not woke up yet. We also have the Autism Spectrum Bunny. This is the gold edition one. Look and see, she has the sign or the symbol on her, and she has these awesome textured ears. They're bumpy, so very tactile, and she has this starry faraway look to represent that she has trouble making eye contact. And also her little paws go over her mouth to represent communication difficulties. And she is wearing this adorable dress. And there's more things about her, but that's what we got for today. You want to be in the cup holder today? Okay. We also have Chaos. He's my ADHD bunny. The Chaos edition. And he was with us yesterday, I think. I'm having some serious ADHD challenges right now, so he came to help me. I don't know if she's gonna help very much. She's a little wild today. Hey, don't crawl all over the desk, please. Yesterday you knocked my iPad off my desk completely. Okay, those are my bun buns. I cannot talk today. So yesterday I was using this pen to color this Disney villain's spiroglyph, and it wasn't working out very well. So this morning I grabbed all my yellow orange Sharpie, what are they, ultrafine points, and I did a little swatch back here to figure out which one of them was the closest color to what I was using. And we got this one, and so far it's working okay. It feathers a little bit, but that doesn't matter really. I prefer that it didn't, but it is what it is. My hands are pretty shaky today. I'm not sure if they're worse than yesterday. I did put some pain relief cream on my hands before I sat down this morning. So, and I did a few hand exercises to try and loosen up my joints. Yeah, this marker is working a lot better. When all else fails, grab a Sharpie, right? I know it's a little bit hard to see these on camera because they blur. I'm not sure how to fix that. Maybe I could change the focus. I'm not sure. I was not feeling well yesterday. Um, so I feel like yesterday's stream was pretty boring and scatterbrained. But y'all, I'm not gonna judge it. I'm just gonna keep going. And I don't know how today is going to turn out, but I'm here, and that's the most important step, is showing up. The rest, it is what it is, and it becomes what it will become. Okay. Yeah, still a little bit shaky. I think it might go away. Okay. So now that I see this is working out pretty well, I'm going to put it aside for now. And we're going to get back to working on redoing these overlays. So I did this one yesterday. It came out pretty good. And I did this one yesterday, and it didn't come out pretty good. I got the gel, it flooded in my nail bed. So I'm going to try and file that down after I do everything else today. That little black piece, though, don't worry about it. It's just the, what am I trying to say? It's the piece of the nail form, the paper nail form that got stuck in there yesterday. Usually I peel them out, but I just didn't. I didn't feel like it. All right. So let's see. Nail bits. I'm gonna move all these out of the way. I probably shouldn't have put them there. I just dropped them into a random bucket. Oh well. Okay. I am not and have not watched the news today. I'm not doing it today. I can't. So I need to take a break from the news for my emotional and mental health. All right. So we're going to start with filing. I need to shorten these nails. I don't feel like putting anything on the glass today because honestly I'm sensitive to textures at the moment. So I don't want to put my hands on felt. All right, I'm going to take my Macart 180-240 file. I'm going to shorten these nails, all 4 of them. I already did that one. So what I like to do is I like to shorten them and shape them, the overlay, before I reapply the overlay. That way I don't have to do as much filing after I put on the gel, because it self-levels, sort of. So today I am watching art videos and YouTube tutorial videos. I'm going to try this weekend to set up Final Cut camera on my iPad. Supposedly, I can run 4 different cameras from the iPad with Final Cut camera. So I'd like to figure that out this weekend. That was a little bit shorter than I wanted, but oh well. I'm gonna use the 240 side to smooth that. Give it a look-see. And now I'm gonna come, actually, let me get a much finer, like a buffer. That's 100, that's more coarse. That's 100, 180. And I don't think this one's gonna actually work on the gel. Let's see. Yeah, nah. I guess I need to buy some new buffer blocks. So, yeah. We'll just go back to it with this one. That's pretty good. Try not to get them so short. If you want to know what I'm listening to, since I have a tendency to dance a little bit and sometimes I hum and sometimes I actually sing quite badly, especially since I have an earbud in this one for my music and this one for the TV. So I can't hear very well. I can hear, I just can't hear very well. So I sing quite badly when I'm singing with headphones in. But if you do want to listen or know what I'm listening to, and I don't want to put copyrighted music in the background, even though I'd love for you to be able to listen to my music along with me. If you look right here in the corner on the screen, there's a little screen share of my Spotify mini player that tells you what I'm listening to. There's a tiny little piece of red fuzz stuck in the edge of my nail right there because the nail broke a little bit last night and it got some of my blanky fuzz in it. We're just gonna file that out. Can I get to it? Almost there. Oh yeah. I'm about to get it right there. There we go. This hand is cramping. I don't know if you could see that, but there's like this patch right there. And that's a little bit of adhesive from underneath the nail wrap, and it's still stuck there. So we're gonna get that off. There it is. I'm just using the cuticle pusher to kind of peel that off. I'm not hurting my nail at all because I'm just scraping this off of the overlay. Yeah, rubbing alcohol yesterday just didn't get it. But I am gonna clean it up with rubbing alcohol now, because I got most of it off, I think. So 91% rubbing alcohol. All right, that's better. So now I'm just gonna buff it a little better. All right. That one looks pretty good. Now, the one thing about not having a piece of felt underneath me is that I frequently have to wipe my little piece of glass. I have a little washcloth around here somewhere. Hang on. I can find my life. Whatever. Here we go. I'll do it this way. Right into the tiny trash can. Okay. And now we do the pinky. So yesterday I showed you how I do this. I put my finger if I'm doing my thumb, or my thumb if I'm doing my finger, on the bottom of the pad of my finger that I'm about to file. And I kind of like press a little bit and push the meat of my finger forward. And that way I can file until I get right up against the edge of my fingertip. And that's how I measure them. I didn't do that on this one. That's why it's so short. It's fine though. And look to see if it's even. And then we'll go over the top. And then round the corner just a tiny bit. All right, them's all filed. So now I need to run my little nail drill. Around it real quick, just because my nails they grow overnight, honestly. So I got my Melody Susie nail drill. This is my favorite one. And just very gently no pressure, come around and just clean up that cuticle. And then we'll go underneath the nail. I like to go up against the overlay first on the underside. Okay. And then this direction, I come across the actual skin under the nail. This nail bit is designed to deal with skin and not the nail bed itself. or the overlay. I gotta take my vitamin. Yeah. All right, underneath. Underneath. And underneath. All right. So, now we will go ahead and do the overlay on this hand, and then hopefully don't we'll be able to do the other hand today too. I'm really hoping that before the afternoon session is over this week, if I get that today, if I get to an afternoon session, that we can do our design. So I'm not really rushing, but I'm trying to move it along. I brush the nails. It went everywhere. A little bit tired of thinking there's water in my boat. I'm barely breathing and trying to stay afloat. We don't need to use any forms today. I'm happy about that. This is ASP Prep and Clean Dehydrator. I like to do dry manicures and such on my nails because water doesn't work very well with my nails or my fingers. They really swell up, the water swells up the nail itself, and it will make my nails crack and peel and all the lovely things. And water isn't great when I'm having a psoriasis flare up. So I got all those clean. I'm going to go ahead and put this on all 4 nails. And I put this on the natural nail bed as well as over the overlay. Now I'll tell you a secret. If you don't get the shine off of the overlay, you're going to have adhesion problems. So I go on the natural nail, and then I go over the overlay, and then I kind of go back and forth like however, and I scrub it in, and then I make sure I get it on the underside of the nail. This is not a primer per se. Most primers, whether they're acid or non-acid, will etch your nail. I don't want anything to etch my nail. So that's why I don't put it on a smooth surface. I buff that overlay first because that gives it a little bit of natural etching, so to speak, a matte surface, and this Power Bond gets into those surface pits and cracks, and it's gonna really help with the adhesion. It air dries. I've been using it for years. I used to use the etching ones, and it just tore my nails to crud. So this is from IBD. It's Power Bond Gel Bonder. It's more like a glue than anything. At some point today, I'm going to get a phone call. I'm glad you like it. Sorry. I was replying to somebody on my text messages. I'm going to get a package at some point today that I have to go sign for, so you'll probably hear my dogs bark unless they pretend like they're broken doorbells, and I'll have to get up and leave the camera for a few minutes. Just pre-warning you. Alright, once the nails turn kind of shiny, then that's how you know the Power Bond is dry. So we'll start with a very thin layer on, I'm going to do multiple nails at a time, like 2 at a time. Very thin layer. Very slow. I push the gel back up against the cuticle a little bit so that it will sort of get into the dip between the overlay and the natural nail, but I don't want to flood it. And I'm gonna do the same thing here, push it backwards a little bit. When you put a really thin layer on like this, it's more like a base coat. I don't use a base coat under my overlays because, again, they give me adhesion problems when I do that. Oops, I touched it. That looks good. Check to make sure there's no gel on the skin. And we're gonna cure it. I'm gonna color while we cure. This is me and my ADHD. I don't know why I'm trying to do this. I'm just being weird today, okay? That's only 10 seconds. What is going on? Hi, sorry. Let's try 60. How about that? I like to fully cure each layer in 60 seconds. And then you get a sticky layer, an inhibition layer, and I leave that on until I finish getting the final layer on there before wiping it off, because gel sticks to gel. I can't do this. I can't color while my arm's over here. Like, I tried. This is the boring part. It looks pretty good. They both do. So I'm going to go ahead and apply gel to the other two nails, and then we'll do some other layers. Yes, I'm doing this on top of the spiral. I don't usually put anything on my art, but my spirals I don't worry about too much. They're not really my art, you know, they're more of an activity. I mean, get in there. Right? A little piece of whatever right here. Let me get that out of there. All right. So if I were making a video of this, I would absolutely cut out the curing time. Okay, I did pretty good on those. I think each one only needs one more layer. I don't know if you can see, but there's no bumps because I used the brush and pushed that gel back in there in the cuticle area. They're still sticky, so don't touch them. Let me move this. So I'm still doing a thin layer because I want to keep my overlays thin. I don't like it when they get bulky, and that's something I've been practicing for a couple years now. I don't usually do it like this. I usually only do one finger at a time, but I'm trying to do it this way this morning just because I really kind of want to get this done and over with so we can get on to the art part. So I'm checking them as I go to make sure I'm not getting flooding. If it starts flooding, then I have to like stick it in the lamp real quick. Hang on a second, y'all. Please turn down your volume. I can hear your TV. If you're hearing something in the background that I have to cut out later, that would be my oldest playing his TV really loud. I hope I don't get a copyright for that. All right, let's check for any flooding. You look good. Now I'm going to cure them all at one time. "60 seconds. Do you have a pocket full of sunshine today? It's Friday. And I think we're done with these. Let's wipe them clean. And we'll do our top coat. Let me grab some paper towels here. Rubbing alcohol, 91%. You can use 71%. I use 91% because it's a little stronger. And sometimes I can use this in place of acetone, which is really a lot better for my hands. I don't use acetone to remove my overlays. I file them off, or they come off on their own. But I use a rubbing alcohol for a lot of stuff. You gotta, I always like to wipe the nails good one time and then let them dry and then wipe them again to make sure I get that sticky layer off. And I'm checking to see if I need to file anything. And make sure I wipe underneath too. All right, let that dry, and then we'll just do the top coat and we'll move on to the other hand. If this is boring, I'm sorry. I find it boring as well. Make sure there's no inhibition layer left. Now the top coat is thinner, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply it and then flash cure it and do that for each finger, and then on the last one we will do a full cure. It just makes it a little bit faster. And this is how I wrap the nails with the gel to protect both the top of my finger and the underside of my nail. All right, that just set it. Do a flash cure. I'm basically just doing 10 seconds here. I meant to do 10 seconds. I forgot what I was doing. One of the reasons that I love using gel, aside from the fact that it's both flexible and strong, is it gives me plenty of time to work with the product and get it the way I want it before it starts to dry, and it doesn't dry until you put it in the lamp. I can have difficulties in working with it, but I find it a lot easier for doing this than acrylic or detail painting, but I still use lacquer too. I love lacquer. There's something to note about that though, is that you can put lacquer polishes over gel, and that's where you're air drying, right? But you cannot put gel over lacquer unless you let the lacquer dry for like 24 to 36 hours. So if I'm making a set of nails on the stands, then I don't hesitate to use lacquer underneath gel. I'll just let it sit out for a couple of nights to make sure that that lacquer fully cures. And then I can seal that design with gel. All right, so we're gonna do the full 60 seconds now. And then we'll be done with this hand. How about that? I have to make a decision at some point which nail wraps I'm gonna use. I have a few out. I don't know how I wanna put them together. And that is that hand basically done. Okay, so we're gonna do this hand now. I'm gonna start with fixing this one. It's just a little bit up on the cuticle, and I don't like that. I'm just reshaping this one a little bit. So what happened here yesterday is I was going fast because I wasn't feeling good, and I let that gel kind of flood the area. All right. It's still a little bit higher than I'd like it. And I did hit a psoriasis spot right there, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the top coat on that. I wasn't going to, but if I don't do the top coat with that buffed overlay, that blood will get into those little what am I trying to say? It will get into the little I don't want the blood to get into those little micro pits and crevices. So I'm just going to top coat it first. Let that fully cure, and then we'll come back and do the rest of the hand. Now, if I didn't get my cuticles perfectly clean, once I've got my overlay on, my top coat done, like I do when I'm doing maintenance each day, I could just clean up the cuticles around the overlay, which is very handy when you have to like basically trim your skin back every day. All right, so that's better. I do have some chips on these nails. Like right here, I may have to do a little bit of a form underneath that to repair that edge, but we'll figure it out. So I'm just gonna file that right there. All right. Again, my hands are shaky, and using my right hand to do my left hand doesn't always work out well. We're gonna try it with this bit, but I'm not sure if we'll be able to do it. We may have to swap out. I don't have to do a lot of cuticle work on this hand because I've been keeping it up. And I did some yesterday. All right, this finger always gives me trouble because I have this arthritis bump right here and it comes forward, so I almost never get it clean properly. While I'm thinking about it, I would like to say, please, 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 I'm not a professional. I've taught myself how to do this. And technically, I don't do it right. Because I very rarely use the reverse and forward switch on my drill. And I do things quite differently from what professionals say you should do, but that's because I have to work within the bounds of what psoriasis does to my hands. But yeah, this is not a tutorial. This is not a class. It's not a how-to. I don't do those. I can explain why I do what I do. I can explain my process. I can explain my thoughts. I can definitely help if you're looking for potential advice, but my advice is not professional. This finger is going to be the one that takes the longest probably because I've done the least amount of keep up work on it, but we'll see. If you are watching, I can see that I have a couple of viewers right now. Come on in the live chat, say hi. I'd love to get to know you guys, have a conversation about whatever you want to talk about. All right, and underneath. Okay, so I want to show you that right here, can you see this little white spot on the edge right here of that overlay? That needs to be filed off. That is a lifted area. So we're gonna do that, and we're gonna shorten the nails, file everything up nice and smooth, and then we can do the overlay. So like, now to file that off, I'm gonna file forward of it, so in front of it, not behind it. I'm just gonna take my file and kind of rest it on the edge like this, and I'm gonna go right in front of it. And when you it's just gonna flake off. And sometimes I can get my fingernail up underneath it and kind of flick it, but you want to be careful doing that so that it doesn't lift any further area. You don't want the lift to start moving forward. There. I still got a little bit of white right there, but that's not a bad thing because I'm gonna smooth these over anyway. I like to go up and down against my finger knuckle right here. So like, go like this, just softly. It helps to make sure that the curve is even. All right. All right, good. So now I'm just gonna file the front of these, and these are a little bit shorter than the other hand was. So So this little chip right here, the little corner, I'm gonna put a little piece of a form underneath there when I apply the gel to fix that little area. I can't stand having the dust here, so I do have to clean it every time. Push this into the tiny trash can. All right. I just have to accept it. This hand is never going to look good. It's never going to look as good as the other hand. One, because it's the hand that gives me more trouble, and because it's harder for me to actually do nails on my dominant hand. Got a little bleed right there in the psoriasis. Okay. Don't do that. Sometimes that helps my skin stop bleeding. I don't know why. I usually use a styptic pencil. Alright. I want to show you something. These are some of my past nail sets that I've created. These are all hand painted. Some of them are using nail stamping, like this set is. The lace was all nail stamped. These ones aren't looking great because I wore them. So I'm just going to set these here for the moment so I can remember to show you them a little bit more in detail. I'm going to do these 3 fingers. I'll do the thumbnail separately. It's trying to drive me crazy, but I'm gonna leave it alone just a second. I promise. Okay, it's driving me crazy. All right. How we doing? We hanging in? Coffee. Do we have coffee? Mm-mm-mm. do our primer. Gonna go ahead and do this nail so that that blood doesn't seep. I'm just being a little bit OCD here. I say that because I do have obsessive compulsive disorder. I don't say that like frivolously. Oh, I'm a little OCD. No, I have OCD. I don't want to offend anybody out there. All right. Is that dry? All right, this is gonna be a little more difficult because my hand twitches, and this is my dominant hand I'm working on here. And while I can do it, it can be a little bit troublesome. Push the gel back so it will fill that kind of lump. It's not a big lump, but it's a big enough. Right. I spend a little bit more time letting this finger level, letting this hand level the gel. And I also am more particular about cleaning up around the edges. So we're gonna flash cure that. Singing break. And now I'm gonna add the first layer of gel on the other two fingers. I definitely have to make sure I don't flood the cuticle on this finger, because up here by this knot it gets very deep, kind of. There we go. Let's flash cure that. Why am I trying to do this with my vape in my hand? Sometimes it's helpful if I slide my finger up like this on the brush and then push the gel back. Come under. Check the edges, make sure there's no gel on the skin. Flash cure. All right. Now we're just gonna add another layer. And again, I'm gonna flash cure this so I don't mess it up while I do the other two nails. You really should use a tool to do what I'm doing, the clearing off of the gel, but I don't feel like it right now. I just don't. So it's Doing a flash cure can also help you avoid a heat spike. If you do 10 or 15 seconds and then you come back to it, sometimes it doesn't even let that level a little. A little bump right here. I don't know why I'm picking at my skin and such. I'm in a full cure, all of these now. I really hate that light right there. The ring light that I use overhead. It's kind of going out, I think. You'll know. Okay. I think the middle finger needs another coat, a really thin coat. I'm going to full cure that one. Then we're going to clean them. We're going to top coat them, and then we'll do my thumb. Excellent. Now we're going to clean off the inhibition layer. Okay, I need to finish file this hand a little bit more. I'm just gonna grab this one. It's just a little bit rough on the free edge here. I think I forgot to file underneath this nail, So let me do that real quick. There we go. Good fit. There you go. Okay, and now let's do our top coat. We're almost there, guys. It may very well be that we can do the art part this afternoon. Woohoo! All right. Let me flash cure that. All right. Do 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 do. Flash cure. We're gonna fully cure all 3 of those. It looks good enough. Right. So, for this one, okay, so I'm not going to use a full form. I'm going to take this little inner piece and I'm going to round it and I'm going to push it up underneath the nail. And you just want to create like a little lip. So I'm just gonna try to put it like that, okay? I don't know if that's gonna work, y'all. I'm looking at it and I'm like, But let me go ahead and put this on. Alright, let's let that dry. I'm not sure if I can get this little tab up underneath there. Let's try this again. So I'm gonna hold it like this, kind of. It's a little bit finicky. But what I'm gonna do is I'm not even gonna apply this to the entire nail. I'm going to basically put a blob right here. And I'm gonna hold it so that it's kind of even. And I'm basically just making a little bridge right there. And hold it like this for a sec so it can float to the top. And then I'm going to cure it just like that. And it came off. Oh no. Let's try this again. I want to make sure it's attached. And instead of trying to put it in the big lamp, let me grab this one. Notice I can let go of it now. It's kind of cured there. Now, it's not going to look pretty at first. It may not even be fully attached, so we'll have to check it really good. But I do this sometimes if I actually break my overlays, like I chip a nail, which doesn't happen very often, but does happen. You can see here, I've just basically created a little ledge, and it's very lumpy and bumpy, but I'm going to apply another big blob there now that I don't have to hold the little tab. So I'm gonna add that right there. And I'm really making a big blob, okay? And now I'm gonna put it in here. I'm gonna cure this for 60 seconds. Fully cure it. So this is a set that I have worn. I do have video of all of these sets that I have created. So it looks a little bit rough, but I call this my love set, or making love set. It's a little bit sexy. And then I have this set that I made. I have never worn this set. It's very glittery. I did these with neon glitter powders. Let me try to, okay, that's cured. So you can see it's just a lump there of gel. I'll get back to the other nails in a second. So now I'm going to very carefully peel this little tab off. And hopefully it won't rip underneath there. Okay. Push that away from there. And now I'm going to apply to the entire nail. Gel is also very forgiving when it comes to repairing it, when it comes to, oh, I didn't get that perfectly smooth. Oh well, I'll just file it. You know, it's really a forgiving medium. Much more forgiving than lacquer polishes. Okay, now I'm gonna cure this whole thing, and then we're gonna trim it and file it. While it's curing, I could do this. Like, I can start showing you guys stuff while I cure, right? So yeah. I do have videos of all of my nail sets pretty much. And then I got this one. This one was a trial set. I was trying some things out, and it didn't work out too great, but I did eventually get it to where I liked them. Haven't worn these either. I don't know if you can see those holographic unicorns. Okay, now I am gonna clean this because I don't want the dust to get stuck on there when I file it. I don't want the filed dust to stick to it. I'm not done with creating the overlay yet. Okay, I'm gonna trim this real quick, but very carefully. I'm gonna come right up against the edge here. Please don't break. That flew in my face. All right, and I'm gonna come along the side right here. And see, that's a little bit thick. But it's fine. So I'm gonna grab my file. And firstly, I'm gonna make sure the front edge is nice and flat. Come straight down this edge. All right, so underneath this, there's a bit of a blob, and I don't like that. On this side right here, see how thick that is? So I'm gonna use my ceramic bit. This is on the lowest setting, and I'm just gonna come underneath. I'm not tapping my skin. I'm tapping up against the nail. It won't hurt you if you hit your skin. But that's not the purpose of this file. So that pulls the bulk up off of the bottom of the nail, the underside, but a lot of the bulk on this nail is actually at the top. So we'll do that with the regular file, the hand file. Oops. So I'm going to file this down until it's smooth. So, because I cleaned this nail off in order to file it, I'm going to file across the entire nail to mattify it again. And then I'll apply another coat of the builder gel. And clean it really good. So now we've fixed that little chip on the side. We fixed it. I'm just gonna clean out under there really good. Got some dust and I don't want to get that encapsulated. All right, let's cure that for 60 seconds. So I also have this set. This set, I mean, you can't see it, but there's glow in the dark elements on this set. And I did them kind of like this was, I called it midnight to dawn because this one is like midnight, and then to my eyes, it got brighter and brighter like a sunrise. So the moons and the stars and the little sunburst, all of that stuff, it's all in glow in the dark. Alright, that's cured. So I'm going to clean it, do a final clean on it, and oh my goodness. And then we're going to do the top coat. Clean it really good, get off the inhibition layer. I need to get better at keeping my hands in the actual screen. Over here doesn't work, does it? Alright, let that dry. I think we're gonna get this done by lunch, guys. So, top coat. I'm actually going to take some of this off. I put a lot on there. That did flood into my cuticle. All right, 60-second cure. And let me show you my favorite little set that I have, the favorite one that I have with me at the moment at my desk was this one. It's white French tips with white lace stamping, and then some holographic little butterflies and a pearl butterfly, and then the clear butterflies on top. I really loved how this set came out. And I do like to create 3D effects as well. So, can you see those little butterflies standing up right here? So these butterflies right here, and that one. I absolutely love how this set came out. Those are some of the sets that I've done in the past. If you'd like to see a video for any one of those, let me know in the comments. And that's it. That's all we've got right now. So let me cuticle oil. Now that everything is cured and sealed, we apply cuticle oil. Very important. I like to make sure I get underneath the nail too. Some of these nails have a little bit of a funky shape to them. They're not perfect. We don't worry about perfection here. Okay, sometimes we do when I'm working on a specific project. But when you have psoriasis on your hands, nothing's ever going to be perfect. We just do the best we can and accept the rest. There's definitely some more cuticle work that could be done on my left hand, but my hands are so shaky right now, it's really hard for me to get it done, if you noticed. And we'll rub those in. Now, we got the boring part done. Yay! That means that for lunch, after lunch, I can come back and we can do the design. I can't believe it. I got all done by 10:59 and we go to lunch at 11. That's perfect timing. That's like right up to the limit. So and of course, you can't even see where there was a piece missing. This hand looks great. Okay, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me this morning here at Periwinkle Palace Arts. I really don't like doing cuticle care, and this is so boring, but I appreciate you being here. And if you have any questions or comments at all, or just want to say hi and how your day is going, comments, you can do the like, dislike, subscribe, and notification bell on the channel if you want to. It doesn't matter to me, honestly. My name is Princess Bunny, and I'm here with my bun buns. Say bye, guys. And we did art here this morning. I don't know if this is technically art, but it does take talent and practice. I don't know, maybe not talent so much. Who knows? Anyway, this is what we did. And we will be back after lunch to make them pretty. I'll see you then. Bye.